3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Real Pineapples, your humble host Hunter here, and oh my gosh, I'm here with one of my best friends, DC apologist, Allissa. Allissa, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. A little bit better today after seeing that movie.
Yeah, we're both having a pretty good buzz right now. This is margarita number.
Who's counting?
Yeah, at least 2 out of my Trek glass here. So, we're talking about The Suicide Squad.
By the way, kids, that's the answer if you ever get pulled over. How many have you had? 2.
Yeah, exactly. Just not to be over the limit. But we're reviewing Suicide Squad, which is, of course, written and directed by Mr. James Gunn. So, quick little intro here. So, of course, James Gunn got fired from Marvel temporarily for some tweets that just weren't funny. He was trying to be funny, and for some people they just weren't. He apologized for tweets multiple times, and in the, I want to say 8 months-ish that he wasn't working for Marvel, DC was like, hey, we're kind of in disarray. You want to go ahead and write a movie for us? And he went, sure, why not? And I said at the time that you need to treat James Gunn like he has carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants at DC, because unlike David Ayer, and we'll talk about the first Suicide Squad, but unlike David Ayer, James Gunn's a nerd, and he reads, he's not exclusive to Marvel or DC, he reads fucking everything.
He knows his shit. Like, that's important. And also, just kind of side plot, but Twitter is a fucking cancer, and I am sorry if you've ever tweeted anything controversial, because it will come back to bite you, apparently.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation. But so I don't even want to say too hard. I'll say I've been critical of DC films in the past. I thought Justice League, the Snyder version, was fine. I gave it a C+. I stand by my C+. Watched it again recently, and I was like, yep, still C+. I think up to this point in the DCEU, the best film has been, I mean, I think a lot of people say Wonder Woman. I personally would say Shazam.
I would actually agree with that.
We reviewed that together.
Yeah,
as well.
Wonder Woman was really good, but that third act completely undermines the message of the entire movie. But Shazam is very cohesive, in my opinion. Also,
Billy meeting reuniting with his mom, that scene is just such a kick in the it hurts you how bad that scene is.
Shame the Wonder Woman sequel wasn't any good.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman 84, like, you've listened to the review by now. If you haven't, you should. Spoiler alert, I think it's terrible.
Subpar at best.
Terrible is being kind to it, because I think it completely betrays Diana as a character. But that's a whole other thing. We're talking about Suicide Squad, and I have to say, okay, I've always talked about on the podcast, I always call a spade, that if DC does something great, like Justice League, War, Apocalypse, I will be the first one to go, holy fucking shit, this is great.
That's actually a controversial opinion, just so you know. A lot of people hated that fucking movie.
Yeah, and those people are wrong. But
I agree.
Not only is this the best DC film to date, this might actually crack my top 10 favorite comic book films ever. I love this movie so much. I'm so happy.
It is, in a sentence, balls to the wall fun. It does not. It starts off at fucking 60 miles per hour and it does not stop.
Okay, so I think you can honestly critique anything. I don't think there's a perfect film in existence. Mm-hmm. Even something like, Winter Soldier or Black Panther, whatever. I don't have any major complaints about this. Like, I'm really sitting here racking my brain, and we just finished this, 10 minutes ago?
You're just happy that Pete Davidson got killed off in the first 10 minutes.
Okay, so I will admit that was a huge plus for the movie, because...
You said it was half a grade.
Yeah, because if you've listened to my King of Staten Island review, I fucking hate Pete Davidson. How did he get Kate Beckinsale? Sorry. Anyways, but he's bad. I don't like Pete Davidson.
He does a good job acting in this one.
In
as
this,
a totally unlikable douchebag.
Yeah, so he's playing Pete Davidson. Like, I mean, ooh, whatever. But you're a Suicide Squad fan. I've read a shocking amount of it, actually, when I was kind of going through my notes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's from that run.
Did you read the old school stuff?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
I read the first couple, like, original ones.
Because James Gunn definitely did. He knows his fucking Suicide Squad. I have to give him this. He has done his fucking homework. That's always been my issue with Zack Snyder's DC movies, is that he doesn't actually know the characters he's writing about. James Gunn knows these characters.
Thank you so much for saying that, because when you make Polka Dot Man a sympathetic character with, admittedly, this very important thing that you go, fuck, that is really dark, and I love that they bring up this thing. So, by the way, real quick, full spoilers, if you really need to know, I'm assuming you loved it too, and we can just call it.
I did.
Cool. All right. So if you want to learn more, we both loved it. Anyways, full spoilers.
Spoilers going forward. Go watch the movie if you don't want to hear any shit.
Yeah. So I don't even know where to start with this. So the first Suicide Squad, I rewatched it on Wednesday night. David Ayer, of course, wrote and directed it. Okay. So what's so frustrating about that movie? Look. I'm a straight dude. I love Margot Robbie. Yes, she's gorgeous. Harley Quinn, da-da-da. But the way that she is shot, there was a point about 15 minutes in and went, all right, like, she has a face, right? Could we show Margot Robbie's face and not shoot her like a prostitute? That'd be really cool.
Compare Margot Robbie in the first Suicide Squad to how she was shot in Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's a night and day difference.
Yeah, it's absolutely... There are a lot of reasons the first Suicide Squad movie is very, very bad. Like I told you, like I heard someone describe it perfectly, where it's like, I've never been gaslit by a movie before where they're just describing things that did not take place on screen, and I'm supposed to believe it. I'm like, no, you showed me something else. Like,
yeah, it's really frustrating. Also, Killer Croc just loving big black booty bitches. I was like, cool, that's his reward. God damn. I really hate that movie.
Don't you love your black representation?
Yeah. It's like Tyler Perry wrote the scene. So I will say, I believe I gave Suicide Squad like a C or C minus.
You need to downgrade.
I was way too. Now, and again, I was talking about being honest on the podcast. I let people who said that I was being too hard on DC get to me. I genuinely did, because that really should have been a D minus at best, just for the Enchantress shit. But I caved, and I will fully admit I caved, which is why you haven't heard me cave since. My God, it makes me dislike that film more, because when you look at the music choices here, which are all so well handled, how...
Versus the fucking licensed music blast you get in the first movie.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the original Suicide Squad. It's, on a technical level, probably the worst modern DC movie ever made.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Even though Batman vs. Superman is a bigger disappointment, if that makes sense. Like,
I agree with that.
Batman vs. Superman is more technically competent, but still a fucking mess. But the original Suicide Squad movie is literally incoherent if you try and actually follow the plot.
Yeah, and the Enchantress shit is just, it's absurd.
Yeah.
But where we start off here, we start off with a separate version of the squad that's led up, again, by Colonel Rick Flag, which... played by Joel Kinnaman, who I really actually like that dude.
He did way better in this movie than the last one.
Well, they got rid of the Proud Boy aesthetic to him, which was something
the director was working with him, because that's the whole thing, is it's like, hey, director, tell him what he's supposed to be projecting and feeling.
Wait, you're wanting a director to direct the actors? Allissa, come on. That's fucking ridiculous.
Not when it's fucking David Ayer,
yeah, apparently fucking not.
But no, like, he's leading this fucking platoon of red shirts, because that's what they are. You can tell right from the beginning.
Yeah, it's ironic we're both drinking out of Trek glasses, because, yeah, there was a point early on we kind of looked at each other and went,
they're
okay,
all fucking dead.
So you're all decoys to just get killed. Which, when you think about Rick Flag and Harley being in that group, it's like, oh, shit, so...
Well, the surprise was Boomerang.
Yeah, so we gotta talk about that. So Captain Boomerang gets killed, 15 minutes in?
Not even.
Like 10 minutes? Yeah, and okay. I was bummed about that. I will be real.
I will say Jai Courtney was one of the only good things about the first Suicide Squad, which is weird because I don't fucking like the guy usually.
I don't either. I always call him talented Sam Worthington. Like, I just, like, he's always just... He
was on fucking point in this movie. Again, when a good director is telling you how to act, I loved their banter in the fucking helicopter. I thought it was fucking perfect.
Yeah, and it's just... So the whole... So Weasel, who Sean Gunn does the mocap for, which... Weasel looked terrifying, but in the best way. There's this whole thing where... I can't remember who says that he's a werewolf. I think is it Harley who says he's a werewolf? It was
Blackguard. It was Pete Davidson.
That's right.
You sat me next to a fucking werewolf.
And that whole sequence is fucking hilarious. And so first off, Weasel dies because Weasel can't swim. Which I went, yeah, that actually for a Weasel would make sense, but. The violence in this. So
the gore is up to 11.
The gore is amazing. You see Captain Boomerang throw a boomerang and cut the top of a guy's skull off like Hannibal Lecter style.
I'm not saying the effects are 100% perfect, but they did balls to the wall with violence.
It's kind of shot like a. It's really similar to something like The Dirty Dozen, which Gunn... It
really actually reminds me of Tarantino, if I'm being honest.
That's fair, but Gunn talked about the fact that, Dirty Dozen, like those style of films were inspiration, and you really see it, because it has this 70s aesthetic to it, which I actually really like. It's kind of like, weird comparison, but if Tropic Thunder took itself seriously, that's kind of what this is like, as far as the violence and everything.
No, I was calling it out during the entire movie. The editing and the shots are, like, the cinematography is fucking immaculate. It really is. Like, I can't believe what a good editor they must have had.
So, let's go through each character. So, Idris Elba is pretty much a hit whenever he steps up to bat. I will pretend he didn't do Cats, but he was actually one of the
He was the only good part of Prometheus, which I can't believe people fucking like that.
Yeah. Okay, Prometheus is better than Covenant, but that's kind of backhanded compliment, but I digress.
What's worse than fucking Covenant?
I mean...
Alien 3 is better than Covenant.
I mean, that's true. But Concrete Cowboy that he was just in earlier last year, which I fucking adored, of course...
The thing is, when he gets a job, he takes it fucking seriously.
He does.
He acts the shit out of any role you give him.
Yeah, like, I'm such a fan of the dude. I mean, just off Luther alone, I'm such a fan of Elba. And so when I heard he wanted to work with Gunn so bad that he didn't even, he signed on before there was even a script. He just knew Gunn was attached, I love that. I have to shout him out because I'm wearing his shirt.
No, you're not.
Wait.
John Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Idris Elba.
No. John Cena. So Cena's had this really
patchy.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Filmography. So he was in Trainwreck, which I fucking like. He's great in Trainwreck. I'm not a Amy Schumer fan in any way, shape, or form.
He's
but
dog shit in fucking The Marine.
Yeah, he is, and he's also in Daddy's Home 2, which is not great. But then he does Ferdinand, he's actually a really good voice actor in that. Does Blockers, does Bumblebee, Playing with Fire and Doolittle. Fast 9, he's actually really great in Fast 9. And then
the thing with Cena is that he's best when he embraces his own kind of ridiculousness.
Yeah, like once he kind of embraces like how much of a dork he is, it seems like he kind of hits his
he's
niche.
A super muscle bound dork.
Yeah, and Peacemaker in this is just he's U.S. agent. Like he's a more asshole version of U.S. agent because
he's basically Captain America. If you boiled it down to America good, everyone else bad.
Yeah, like if Captain America only drank PBR and Mountain Dew, he would be Peacemaker because.
Although even at he's got to be in his fucking like late 40s now, the guy still fucking looks good.
Oh, Cena looks great. Cena's 44, I think, something like that. But
in better shape than you or me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Cena looks great. 77. So what was that? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so 40. Yeah, 44. Wow, go me. But Cena's great in this, and his comedic timing was something I went, wow, Gunn really knew how to play to his...
And he's willing to be ridiculous, which is fun. Like, a lot of actors, like, of his caliber, like, where it's like, I'm, like, the manly man kind of stereotype, they're not willing to get silly. And, yeah, when you get one that is, it actually works really well comedically. That's actually, I mean, not to go on a tangent.
No, go ahead.
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, Shark Boy. Yeah.
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 Twilight Boy.
Yeah, Twilight Boy, yeah.
He did that, that stupid fucking Adam Sandler comedy.
Ridiculous Six, yeah.
He was actually the best part of it because you could tell he was having fun.
Sad but true.
It was not a good movie, but
no, it's not.
Like, it's kind of fun to see like the sexy boy kind of sexy man stereotype just go a little bit crazy.
He at least was putting in work, and I'll give him credit for that. But
I feel bad for anyone who started in Twilight because you're tarred with a fucking brush at that point.
You're not wrong. But Cena, though, pardon me. So I want to get into the plot real quick here. So basically, this is more of a Suicide Squad-esque mission because they even say at the beginning of the film that they're a Black Ops team, which I really appreciate them saying that shit.
Yes, thank you, because the first Suicide Squad movie didn't seem to understand what the actual Suicide Squad was. They don't fucking fight global threats. They don't fucking fight like crazy shit like that. They're there for, okay, well, we have all these metahumans in a prison, and I want some government destabilized in, third world country, so I'm going to send you in. If you get caught, I had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and Amanda Waller, so we have to talk about Viola Davis. So Viola Davis is just... So Amanda Waller, if you're going to use an equivalent, kind of like DC's Nick Fury in the sense that she's that no-nonsense, happens to be a person of color.
10 times more evil.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Unscrupulous, not evil.
So, but Amanda Waller, so she was the best thing, or one of the best things in the last version of Suicide Squad. I thought Viola Davis was great, despite some shoddy material. Here, she is more tenacious. I do kind of laugh that she uses the second black dad in the second Suicide Squad film to be like, it'd be a real shame something happened to your kid. Well, you should probably join the Suicide Squad.
Again, there was a better movie hiding in that first movie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely there was. But here it's when she's laying out to Bloodshot, like Bloodsport, pardon me, how she's like, hey, be real shame something happened to your kid. And he's like, oh, she's 14. She's like, oh, actually she's 16. She'd be trialing as an adult here. Womp womp. It's like, wow, you're kind of a bitch. And the quickness in which he grabs a blade to, potentially slice her throat, I went, okay, A, impressive. 2, Waller doesn't flinch. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's those moments where I go, yep, this is why you're...
Well, and you got two powerhouses right there. You got Idris Elba and Viola Davis.
And this isn't even a complaint. I would have just liked more of the two of them because I always would want more of the two of them acting together. But, yeah, just an absolutely great scene to go ahead and set the table. And there's a couple times where Gunn is in, the present, but then decides to jump back to, the prior day or, 8 minutes earlier or whatever. And it's interesting how those bits, when he does it, they don't feel weird. I actually go,
no, actually,
this works.
Your roommate hit it on the head. It's like comic book transitions.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, if you like comic books, you're going to fucking dig the shit out of it.
Because this is paced like it's paced like an insane comic book. It really is paced like the original Suicide Squad, and it's very much the spirit of that initial run.
I love that when the first team gets deployed, they basically all, except for Harley, get mercifully fucking
her and Flag.
Off. Yeah. That's basically what you guys do. And I love that he pulled from the C-list Suicide Squad. Again,
Savant.
James Gunn has done his fucking homework.
Having Savant get killed in the way... So Savant has this opening. He's the first character we see on screen. And he kills this goldfinch. Like an asshole, by the way. And the way that his head goes kaplooey he was he was in Scanners. And
I love Scanners. Oh my god!
I love you. It's in that goldfinch plops down his corpse, and I just went, oh my god, that's poetic. Just like there are decisions like that Gunn makes where you go, you didn't have to do that, but it's just a little bit extra spread throughout an over 2-hour film when you go, oh, this is what elevates something that's great to not give away my rating to like a higher echelon. I love Viola Davis in this. So okay, I'm gonna move on. Sylvester Stallone voices King Shark, and
run away. He does a very good job.
So ever since Stallone
we didn't get a King Shark as a shark.
So that is, I'll be real, that's my biggest complaint about this movie, is I didn't get one King Shark as a shark. That is a disappointment for me because, and we'll review it here next month, but we've been watching season 1 and 2 of Harley Quinn because we're working on season 3 right now, thank God. And King Shark is maybe my favorite character on there outside of Frank the Plant, because Frank the Plant is fucking wonderful.
Ivy, personally. I think Ivy's great.
Ivy is great. Lake Bell does a great job. But Stallone was great in this. Stallone was genuinely...
I actually think Stallone was better as King Shark than, Vin Diesel as Groot.
Really?
I would take Stallone as King Shark over Groot.
So I would honestly, for me, I would put them in the same tier. I thought Stallone was that good. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, he's better in this than he was in the last Rambo movie. And honestly,
well, the last Rambo movie was dog shit.
I mean, it was, but considering that's a character that he created and he's better as King Shark, like, I was impressed.
Maybe I'm biased because I love him in Demolition Man. That's one of my favorite movies.
Is it really? You're such a nerd.
I love that 90s cheese. Give me more, please. God, I love Demolition Man.
And that is such a 90s film. I actually like Demolition Man. It's dumb as fuck, but I have fun with it. But King Shark and Ratcatcher 2, their weird friendship in this. She's played by I'm gonna butcher her name. I'm sorry, Daniela McQuire. So
never heard of her, but she's great.
So she's only really done like TV. Like this is like her first major film role, and so I was familiar with Ratcatcher. I gotta be real. She might. I don't know if I want to say she's my favorite character. But she kind of might be my favorite character. I loved her.
Really?
I loved her in this. There's this line that... So I've talked about this throughout the pandemic and everything, that over the last, I'd say 3 years, I have not been more weepy in my in watching film than I've been for the last 3 or 4 years. And there's this line that her dad, played by Taika Waititi, who is, making out with Tessa Thompson and Rita. He's living his best life. Love you, Taika. But he plays her dad in this. The original,
Taika, like the director of Black Panther.
Yeah. No. The director of Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say Ryan Coogler was that her dad. That would have been.
Gotcha. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. But Taika. He's in one scene where he has some dialogue, and he talks about how the rats are like the most I'm paraphrasing, but rats are
most despised, hated creatures.
Yeah, but if they have purpose, then so can we. And that hit me in a way that I went, son of a bitch! I didn't know that a little monologue about rats would hit me, hit me in the feels and make me start to cry. I was like, God damn, okay, Taika. And the way that that Ratcatcher 2 talks about her dad, the reverence but the pain she talks about her dad, it's just,
he's flawed, but she loves him.
Yeah, and it's this subplot that I went, wow, I'm really sympathetic to everything you're going through, and I just want to give you a hug. And
I will say, I am also a bit squeamish about rats.
Same.
And some of those scenes were a little tricky to watch for me.
So it's funny, like I used to actually, when I was like 8, I actually had a pet rat, and so I actually was watching this going, oh, like, oh fuck, this is like,
Like, her rat was cute. I see. By contrast, I have a pet snake, which I feed rats to.
Yeah, irony. But what was her rat's name again?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Thank you. I knew it started with an S.
Sebastian was very cute.
Sebastian was fucking adorable, and it's amazing that Bloodsport has this phobia of rats, which when Waller's kind of man in the chair is like, oh, did you not know that he's afraid of rats? She's like, no, I didn't know. And he's like, oh, well.
Yeah, so speaking of the plot, basically the movie starts off and they have this B team that they send to assault the shores. You find out that Blackguard totally sold him out or whatever, and everyone gets massacred except for Harley and Rick Flag. And then you find out another team has been launched on the opposite end of the shore, which is Bloodsport, Peacekeeper, Ratcatcher, all the other guys, Polka Man.
Yeah.
And so their goal is to destroy this structure that houses Project Starfish, which if you've seen the trailer, you know exactly what that is. And
my God, you want to talk about gun pulling from canon? Like, that's a ballsy move.
He has read comics. Like, I just want Zack Snyder to read a fucking comic, please.
But that's a ballsy move to make that
and I think David Ayer has a quote about, like, no one knows who Martian Manhunter is except for fucking nerds. It's like, you fucking asshole.
It's like, I watched Smallville, motherfucker. I watched Super Friends. Fuck.
I watched Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, people know who... Sorry, go ahead.
I hate people who just disrespect the source material like
Well, because it's like... When you actually respect the source material, you get shit like this, and it's like...
Well, Taika
Waititi. Mm.
That's why Thor Ragnarok is the best Thor movie, because he's just like, we'll read some Planet Hulk, we'll read some Thor God of Thunder, we'll just mash them all together and make a fucking fun-ass... Like, every single thing in that movie has something canonical behind it.
Well, it's.
But then, like, Zack Snyder goes and makes Batman vs. Superman, he uses Batman, pull out a fucking machine gun and start killing people. I just get a little upset.
It's frustrating because watching this movie, you realize if the first Suicide Squad had been this, that we'd kind of be off to the races by now, and that's really been kind of my.
Well, the Suicide Squad is such a fun concept. Again, they're a Black Ops team. They're not a fucking world-saving team. I
mean, we've both talked about the fact that you should have use Batman Assault on Arkham as a template for what the first Suicide Squad. Or Hell to Pay. It's nuts to me with this movie that it's starring villains. Like, let's be clear, it's starring a bunch of villains.
Yeah, the very first thing you see Savant do is kill a bird.
Yeah, which, I mean, God, that's a pretty quick way to make me hate your ass. Okay. So I really like Margot Robbie. I'm a fan of hers independent of Harley Quinn. If you haven't seen I, Tonya, it's on Hulu. You really need to watch it. She's incredible in that. I have always liked her portrayal of Harley. I've always felt like the scripts haven't given her enough to do to be...
I agree. I think that she encapsulates the character really well, but she hasn't had a worthy script.
This is the most...
She's iconic in the character in the same way that I think that Robert Downey Jr. is iconic for Iron Man at this point.
So for me, she's not... Okay, this is how I'll put it. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually like Kaylee Cuoco's version of Harley more than I like Margot's. Because I think the scripts have done more justice to actually give her shit to do.
Is Kaylee Cuoco the voice actor for the show?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love this version of Harley so much. And it made me so happy to go... Yes, like this. So first off, as I mentioned, she's not dressed in a male gazy way whatsoever. I mean, she still looks gorgeous because, Margot Robbie, but she has this like kind of flowy dress, but it's very much her style. She has this whole monologue with, as my roommate called him, Mexican David Tennant, where he's like whining and dining Harley, and he's like, "Hey, like, let's get married," and da-da-da. And I went, "Oh, Harley's actually having a man treat her well, like good for her." And she gets laid. She She gets laid. Like, good for you.
And she hurts him horribly in the process.
So I love the fact, and so this is how insane this is. And listen to this sentence I'm about to say. Harley Quinn has a sex scene in this movie, and she's less sexualized than David Ayer. Than David Ayer sexualized her. It's absurd to say that sentence out loud. But she has this.
Well, in the original one, they fucking sexualize the shit out of her.
Yeah.
She actually has a sex scene in this one, and it's way less fucking, like, exploitative.
Yeah, she has this scene after, like, in the afterglow moments where she talks about seeing red flags with men. And it's one of those moments where I went, huh. Because while I gave, what did I give Birds of Prey? B-. I like Birds of Prey, had some issues with it. But her whole thing with Mr. J is she talks about how, like, how he was abusive and all this shit. And
so the second someone starts talking about dark shit around her, she basically fucking caps him.
And it actually, for what they've set up with her character in the DCEU, it totally makes sense. So when she's talking to him about, and this line I found haunting, that, oh wow, like, you've never looked more beautiful. Those gross thoughts emptied out of your head. I went, holy shit, okay. And it's, oh my god, I love her, and she's kind of benched for, like, I'd say a quarter of the movie because she gets captured, but they still utilize the time with her so well. The action scenes with her, she is going for. It's like she's playing a Resident Evil game. She's going straight for headshots. And I went, yep, I appreciate this. And she rams this door in this guy's face maybe 10 times. And I went...
Kill Bill style.
Yeah, and I just went, I love all of this so much. And Harley gets to use a rocket launcher, which I've been wanting to see. And I was like, oh, right on. I get to use that.
I loved that scene at the beginning of the movie where it's like, oh, we're surrounded by the entire army. Well, you're not allowed to retreat. She's like, okay! And just, like, launches this fucking rocket launcher over her arms.
Doesn't even think about it either. And it's just... So... Oh my god, there's so much I want to talk about with this. There's this scene between Peacekeeper and Bloodsport. And it is just... If John Cena and Idris Elba's dicks could just, like, plop on screen, it's basically... the scene is, because it's about them killing, like, it's about style points but killing people, and
they're just trying to show off for each other. And
it's just, Allissa, when I tell you that I just went, this is just everything I wanted. The fact that Bloodsport shoots a guy and a fan falls on those guy's dick. So first off, as a dude, ow. but there's this point where Peacekeeper has this round that explodes inside someone, and
compression bullets.
Yeah, thank you. And you just see how these people are getting turned into hamburger meat. It's like, oh my god, it's so
and then
good.
The punchline is that they find that they're trying to rescue Rick Flag. Is the whole reason they infiltrated this camp and started killing people. Yeah. And they get there and she's like, no, these are my friends.
Yeah, and they just laid waste to this.
Why didn't no one alert me to your presence? Oh, we didn't see anyone.
Oh, just laid this village out bare. Just fucking cruel as shit. I love it. But that scene, that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. And for me, I would say, again, just rewatching the original Suicide Squad, none of the action bits for me, I was like, oh man, that was cool action. Harley has this whole bit where she's held onto this javelin. And it's a whole, like, ongoing, like, running joke, but it actually serves a purpose for how, like, she factors in.
So the joke with the javelin is that the team that gets mowed down in the first 5 minutes includes Javelin Man, which is a DC character.
Yeah.
And she survives, so she ends up next to his body. He's like, you take the javelin, you need it for, and then he dies. So she just like, I don't know what I need it for. And then, like, at a later point in the movie, she's holding it, she's like, I know what I need it for. But she never fucking tells you.
No.
Which is fucking hilarious.
She never genuinely states what she needs the javelin for. So everyone kind of looks at her like, okay. And then she just runs off. And there's even this point where Bloodsport kind of looks at her like, the fuck? Like, what are you doing with this?
What are you doing with a fucking javelin?
I
don't know.
But
That was a really funny moment to me. Where she's like, she looked at Polka Dot Man. She's like, I know what I need it for, and then she just trots off. I'm like, I love that she didn't tell us.
So, okay, let's talk about Polka Dot Man since you brought him up. So
he did a great job.
So, you know David. I always butcher his name. Dasmalkian. You always know him from stuff like Ant-Man.
I know from Dark Knight too.
So I've seen it. I don't know if you have. So Long Halloween Part 1. He voiced Calendar Man. Actually, okay. He's really good in it. Blade Runner 2049. Prisoners. Among other stuff.
Got an extensive filmography, it looks like.
He was fucking amazing as Polka Dot Man. Mm-hmm. And to make a character as goofy, like, it's hilarious to me that basically, for me, Ratcatcher 2 was Ant-Man, where you think about it and you go like, oh, that seems like a stupid power. But, like, I'll be honest, I feel itchy at some point. I'm like, oh god, what's on me? Like,
yeah, when you see her calling the rats, you just you want to bat at yourself.
So that's why I always thought like Ant-Man would always be terrifying. Also, the fact that someone could just like uppercut you couldn't see him, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like that would be terrifying. When you see all these rats that she's calling, it's like, holy shit! If you could call 1,000 rats to you within like a minute, you would be like
just devour your opponents.
Yeah, it's some Wolfred shit, right? Like you used to go like oh my god, like. But I love the way that Polka Dot Man has this. So I love the Star Labs tie-in. Like they
yes.
specifically, like that was something
they did a lot of DC columns, which was nice.
Yeah, I actually, but they didn't feel forced, which is nice. I went, oh okay. But his whole origin with his mother and how his mother like tortured him and how he sees his mother everywhere he goes is such a horribly dark turn. But
yeah, literally everyone that he kills, he pictures his mother.
Yeah, which I went, fuck, that's dark.
And it's not just him saying it, you see it.
Yeah, you see like when they're fighting,
everyone, really.
Yeah, like he sees he projects his mother's face onto all these people he kills, and you go,
you see King Shark is his mother.
Yeah, okay, so King Shark has one of my favorite moments in the whole film where, so Ratcatcher 2, so I've talked about this on the podcast, I can sleep pretty much anywhere. I've fallen asleep in, closets, planes, arms of couches, hammocks, etc., and Ratcatcher 2 can fall asleep anywhere. And there's this point where she's asleep and King Shark is about to eat her. Like, he's not...
Bloodsport shoots him in the face or some shit.
Yeah, and Bloodsport shoots him, 10 times? Something like that? And he's like, the fuck? And it leads to this shockingly sweet moment where Ratcatcher 2 goes like, hey, like, if you had friends, would you do this? And you go, and...
The way Stallone voice acts this is perfect.
And King Shark goes, no, like, question mark. Like,
I don't know.
Never actually commits to maybe I won't eat you, maybe I will. And even Bloodsport makes a point of, that didn't sound sincere at all. Like, he'll probably eat you first chance he gets. But that was the thing I think that surprised me the most in the best ways, that Ratcatcher 2's kind of the heart of this, where she is trusting despite her really shitty circumstances at points. She
teaches Bloodsport how to be a good dad.
Yeah, and so we both actually made this comment. To give you credit, you stated that loud. I love the fact you brought up the fact that they didn't go romantic with it.
Yes.
That it was just very much hey, like, you have this daughter.
Thank you.
Like, you have this daughter who did a shitty thing, which, by the way, is hilarious. The whole, like, well, I stole this watch. What can it do? You can watch TV on it.
Oh, watch her next time.
Yeah, it's like your cell phone. And honestly, Bloodsport makes a point that I agree 1,000% that you have your cell phone. Why do you need this fucking watch to steal? And she even goes like, well, it's like, God damn it, girl, like, don't be dumb. And I really appreciate that Bloodsport is such a dick that he goes like, you're fucking dumb. That
no, they have a literal fuck you fight where they're screaming fuck you at each other.
Yeah, and it's
there are no like heartrending characters in this one. Like, we're just like, oh, this poor guy. Bloodsport is compelling, but he's still kind of a dick.
Oh no, he's a total asshole. I would say Ratcatcher 2 is probably the closest, because she just seems
the closest to someone who's not a complete asshole.
Yeah, I would say it's probably her, because like, you know, like, so Taika's whole origin of, oh man, I just can't quit, you know, I just can't quit the stuff. Like, it could come across like kind of hokey, but it's actually like seeing her as a kid go to her dad and go, wake up, and he doesn't, you go, oh, fuck, okay. So then it's like, oh, she probably only had rats as friends, oh, fuck. And then, like my brain started going down this rabbit hole, or rat hole, whatever. I just went, oh, fuck, that's much darker when you take half a step
biased.
back.
I fucking hate rats.
No, again, I do too. Trust me when I say I am no fan of rats, but my God, like, I just wanted to really just give her, and again, that one rat was fucking, Sebastian was just fucking wonderful. Like, he waved to people. I went, what a classy rat that he just...
If I had a rat that waved, I could put up with it, but most rats I know are kind of assholes.
I mean, and that's fair, but...
The 30 seconds before my snake eats them.
Oh, noticing less Sebastian. But to go through a couple more things here, so Harley talking about her trauma was something that it's my favorite scene of Harley in the DCEU, where she talks about how, you know, she's been treated badly and that she's
like, I know a red flag when I see one.
Yeah, and I just went, wow. So this isn't like a direct. Okay. I wouldn't call it a direct sequel to Suicide Squad, but acknowledges enough from the first film
Soft
to
reboot.
Yeah, it acknowledges enough that you go, okay, this could be, you know, in the same timeline. And yeah, that whole scene about her trauma and her recognizing red flags, I just thought was so incredibly well done. And
also, too, like, her breaking out of that entire building, like, it was so well shot, so beautifully executed. A lot of the fight scenes were so good. I have to wonder if they brought in the same John Wick team that did Birds of Prey, because it was excellently choreographed.
It really was. And the fact that Harley used, like, you know, like the fact she was a gymnast, like, uses her acrobatics to snap this guy's neck, I went, yep, this is something that Harley would do. Also, I love, even though you do see in the trailer, the whole, like, oh, like, we're gonna rescue you, Harley. Oh, I can go back up there if you want, like, you know, you can still do it.
I already broke myself out.
That's so fucking cute. Also, King Shark's fake mustache, because everyone is changing into different clothes when they get to a certain place, and King Shark is like, oh, I'll wear a disguise. Like, I don't need to hide out. And does this fake mustache. I love that.
And then when he gets
so
told
much.
it doesn't work, he just storms off all pissed.
Yeah, I know. And King Shark, I just want to give King Shark a hug. That's, again, I know I've said it right, but that's my biggest complaint is I didn't get a King Shark as a shark.
I agree.
I
wanted a King Shark as a shark.
That is genuinely my biggest complaint about this movie. But if that's my biggest complaint, so first off, King Shark eats several people.
Yeah, and he rips several people apart. So
he rips this one guy apart, and there's a slow-mo shot in the rain that I just went...
You saw it in the trailer.
Oh, and it is just... But that whole lead up to that bit is just... Mwah. I
see when he gets super aggressive, like actually the CGI kind of goes crazy and his gills flare.
Yeah,
like his teeth pull back and all that. It's pretty fucking cool.
It really and look, the budget was around, I believe it was like $150 for this. So I mean,
low.
they were, but you know, they shot on location, you know, like overseas and everything. I love this movie. I just have to be real. I love this fucking movie, and
it was I was never not having fun watching this movie. That to me, that's the most important hallmark of a movie.
Agreed.
I was enjoying every minute.
Yeah, like I've mentioned on the podcast before, you know, even something, and I'll just throw this example up, but something like Black Panther, where yes, there are those points where the rhinos look like ass, but the fact that I'm enjoying so much of the film, you know, makes me just go, whatever, fine. I had so much fun with this, and I was laughing the whole way through. We both
There
laughed.
are a lot of laugh out loud moments in this one, and I'm not one of those people who laughs easily.
Yeah.
Hunter will vouch.
That is true. Alyssa does not laugh easily, but
there were a couple moments where I'm just like, I get it, that's funny.
But there's a point, and it caught me off guard. I think that's why one of the reasons it made me laugh so hard. There's this point where King Shark sees a bird and just goes, "Bird," and Rick Flag goes, "Stay off the comms." Stay off the comms, buddy. And I went.
Yeah, King Shark keeps trying to chime in while they're like planning their fucking infiltration, and then you just hear bird.
And I just went, "That's
Stay off the comms."
I just went, "That's so fucking cute." I fucking love this shark. And one of the biggest laughs we both got is that that whole sequence where they're all talking to Peter Capaldi's The Thinker. There's this point where Harley goes, "I'm walking back and forth," and just states it out loud, and that caught me so off guard.
It's literally like a Deadpool fucking line.
It really felt like that could have been improv. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Margot just kind of said that and they left it in. But it was something that I just went, "Oh, wow, that's really fucking funny."
Like, yeah,
okay.
you've seen the trailer where they're interrogating the Thinker, like, you know, the whole, like, if you do this, you die. If you do this, you die. That scene goes on, and then Harley's just kind of pacing back and forth, and she literally just chimes in, "I'm walking back and forth."
And it's perfect.
It was really fucking funny.
So, I do love how the Project Starfish dynamic is. So, you see in the trailer, you know, they tease it, and you're like, "Oh, shit." It's so much darker in the film, and
there's a lot of people who die.
And I love that it's that dark. It's very much in that vein of something like The Thing, where you go, "Oh, it's this shit." Okay, because
So I remember when we did the trailer fucking podcast for this.
Yeah.
I fucking love Starro.
Same.
I fucking love Jarro.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit upset in this movie that they didn't give Starro a kind of redemption moment, because he does get that in the comics where he's like, everyone thinks he's like this horrible evil invader, but then he turns out to be a good guy.
Yeah.
The only thing they give you in that is just like, I was just fucking hanging out in space.
So I'm gonna tie it real quick to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. One of the things I love about that show so much is it shows that America is basically like, "Hey, we'll pretty much be pretty much whatever it takes to be number one. We don't really care how we get there." And the whole Project Starfish thing, when, you know, they show you the origins and the Thinker's Capaldi is kind of laying it all out, you go, "Wow, that's much darker than, you know, the trailer shows you," but it's something very much that America as a country would do, so that when it's introduced, you go, "Oh, fuck. We would. Like, we would totally do this." But again, it's something that's very in line with the comics. It's very in line from Americana to just boil it down to its simplest.
And also Amanda Waller in general.
Yeah, and
her one dedication.
Yeah, above all else is, and I love the way that the film presents that. And and there's so much more I want to talk about, but we're almost at an hour, so I'm gonna kind of keep going through here. So
fucking plow through, baby.
The transitions between scenes where James Gunn will use the environment to spell something out. Mm-hmm. There's this, you know, like you see on the beach where, you know, "now" is spelled out, and then you see
wind is blowing and it spells "now" in the leaves, and then there's also like another scene where like the fire's burning, and then it just describes the next objective. It's very comic booky. It
is. It's very much like that jump panel where you go, "Oh, okay, we're going on to this next bit." And I love James Gunn. I've been, you know, I stand by it. I think that outside of the soundtrack, I think Guardians Volume 2 is better than Volume 1. I've been a fan of his since I've been a fan of his since Slither. I think Super is an amazing fucking movie that not enough people talk about.
Really? I love that movie.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many people sadly have not seen it. For me, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. This might go down as Gunn's best film. I've only watched this once, so I'm going to.
He's on a high right now.
I'm going to give myself room to digest, but I will say this is in his upper echelon of films. This is his top 3. This is easily top 3 Gunn films for me personally.
I can't believe how much better honestly, if you watch the trailer, it's a great trailer and it made me very interested in the film, but a lot of the jokes kind of felt a little forced to me. But when you see them in the context of the movie, they don't feel nearly as forced.
True. And it's just, it has this, it hits this rhythm. I'd say it takes maybe 15 minutes to kind of get going, because after the initial, the red shirts kind of go, the movie really kind of kicks in overdrive, and it really doesn't ease up for me. Outside of that, that's really my only quote pacing issue. But you have to set shit up, so I'm not even going like this is bullshit or anything like that.
I love the transitions. The editing is gorgeous. The shots are gorgeous.
The shots are gorgeous.
There are several like just scenes that you can screen capture, and they're just fucking beautiful to look at.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's wrap up here. I mean, I will say for myself, Ratcatcher Part 2 was a genuine revelation for me. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for people to go back and honestly read Suicide Squad and read more about these characters. I mean, who would have fucking thought that Ratcatcher 2 would be one of my favorite DC characters?
Before we wrap up, kudos to that actress. She fucking did an amazing job.
Yeah, then Daniela Quires, what we'll go with. She was fucking
very
great.
Heartfelt.
Yeah, it's amazing how they made her such a sympathetic character. I will say for me, and this is just a complaint that I personally have, because there is a Rick. Okay, so I already said spoilers, so whatever. Rick Flag's death bummed me out. Like, it really just I
didn't see it coming, so I have to give it credit for that.
Yes, but it was one of those things I went, fuck. Like, I love... Okay, so
Here's the thing. Here's what upset you.
Yeah.
Is that you didn't give a fuck about him in the first movie. This
movie
really made you care about him.
Yeah, and I have to give Gunn credit for that, because I even have it noted. Actually, I will even pull my note up so you can actually see. So wow, I hate but love the Rick Flag death, like verbatim, because I hate that they killed him. I hate so fucking much that they killed him.
But they actually made it like it wasn't like a throwaway.
Exactly, and you get this. It's like in Guardians 2 when Yondu dies, where I just went, God damn it, I hate that you did that, but I get why you did it. There's this amazing fight scene we get between Peacekeeper and Flag, a lot, like a third of which that takes place using Peacekeeper's helmet as the reflection. I went, son of a bitch!
You see the fight reflected in his helmet. Honestly, the shots and the editing in this movie are fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
they're absolutely masterclass.
Yeah.
My big issue with the previous Suicide Squad, is that it was edited by a fucking monkey.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this movie, I think who choreographed the...
Sorry, I was about to say what Tyler Perry.
I know you like to hate on Tyler Perry.
I know! I was gonna let it go, but I was... Sorry.
Hey. Can you admit this? Tyler Perry was good in Gone Girl.
Okay, yeah, everyone's good in Gone Girl.
I love that movie.
Okay, but...
Anyways. God damn it, you fucker, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Monkey edited the last one.
Yes. The editing was very good in this movie. The way the cinematography, the framing of the shots, the direction of the actors, infinitely superior to the first movie.
Soundtrack better.
Yeah, so if you watch that first movie, how many fucking songs do they play in the first 10 minutes?
Like 10, it feels like.
Jesus!
Yeah.
And they're good songs, don't get me wrong, but that's not why I'm watching this movie.
The soundtrack in this, it all felt like...
natural.
Yes, it all felt very natural. And Gunn knows his music. Like, he knows when to take musical cues. And when every song does hit in here, you go, oh, there's an actual purpose for this, and it actually enhances the movie, which is what a soundtrack or a score should
do.
do. Exactly.
It should not distract. It should enhance.
Well, see, this is why I have you on. But to wrap up here, everyone, I said at the beginning of the recording, I stand by it.
First Suicide Squad sucked. This one's great.
So, as I've said, not only is this, for me, the best DC film, I'm going to even give it an even bigger compliment. I like this more than Black Widow. And I really enjoyed Black Widow, but I like this more. And this will
You're going to watch it again tonight.
I probably will, honestly. I watched Black Widow twice, but I'll be real. I enjoyed this more. I genuinely enjoyed this more. And this, we got 4 months, like 5 months left in the year. I don't see how this isn't in my top 10 of the year. Unless just, 9 just classics come out in the next 4 months. Which, it's possible. But, this would be top 12 for me.
Well,
at
brothers
worst.
split up, so you're not getting any good movies ever again.
Yes, oh my gosh. But, I can't... okay. I'm so genuinely happy for people who prefer DC over Marvel, because this is...
Me.
So, yeah, I know you. This is something you should be talking about. Seriously, for fuck's sake, leave the Ayer cut bullshit alone. Be happy you have this, okay?
This movie is fucking great. Yes, I will concur. I am a DC fucking fanboy to the end of my days.
Oh, I know you are.
Hunter knows. He gives me shit about it all the time.
As I do, yep.
I tricked myself for like about a week into liking the first Suicide Squad movie. That first movie is dog shit.
I swear
this one is actually good. This one gets the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I go, look, y'all, DC stands for Detective Comics, not Director's Cuts. Okay, we don't need to see the Ayer cut. Be happy you have this. Let's move on. And Gunn is gonna work with DC moving forward. So Guardians 3 is Gunn's last Marvel film, and if I'm DC, sign Gunn to a contract, for fuck's sake.
Yes.
Let him do what he wants.
Let him do a Birds of Prey movie.
Because I'll be real. He should.
By the way, the Birds of Prey movie that already came out is not a Birds of Prey movie.
It's really not. But if they want to have him and I'm blanking on the not Kathy Yen, she was a director.
The lady
Christina Hodden, I think is her name, who wrote Birds of Prey and Bumblebee. Have them co-write the script for Gotham City Sirens. That's kind of That's the next logical step for Harley. So
Ivy, and Catwoman. Let's fucking do it.
So yeah, could we do that, DC? But let Gunn handle what properties he wants. He should handle Suicide Squad moving forward, because my God, if this is what...
The thing about James Gunn is he's a fucking nerd, and that's what you need.
He is.
That's honestly, like, Zack Snyder was not a nerd. Ben Affleck was a nerd.
Yeah, he was.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
He kept trying to give the guy tips.
Yeah.
On set, and it wasn't working. But
yeah, I'm so happy for DC fans. I really am. Like, because I know several of my friends who are like, who are genuinely bummed that they've had to defend some of these movies that they know aren't as good as they should be.
DC still has the best animated movies.
Oh, yeah. I've always said that. That's not... But I'm really happy for DC fans that you have this. And I genuinely do mean that. No sarcasm or anything aside. Seriously.
I'm watching him.
Seriously. Be happy about this. Like, this is something you should be able to puff your chest out and go...
This is a great movie. And if Hunter was at all being facetious about being nice to DC fans, I would kick his ass.
Yeah, he tried. But, but this is one of those movies that I just go, yeah, this... I'll probably go see this on Tuesday in a theater to actually give it my money. I enjoyed it that much. So, I have given one DCEU film a fan-fucking-tastic, which was Wonder Woman, which I will be the first to admit, if you haven't listened, I actually retracted that because of the third act, because it does start to fall apart.
Shazam was good.
Shazam was good. I gave that an A, I remember. Yeah, because some of the CG I wasn't crazy about, and there were a couple pacing issues for me.
Some of the CG here was a little bit...
Some of the CG is a little rough, but for as much as I laughed, for as much as I went, oh shit, at the violence, for the score... this is a fan-fucking-tastic. Okay.
I love it.
Let me gush here. Not only did I love this movie, I have genuine admiration for it. I am so happy this is under the DC banner. I'm so happy that this will be a film that I can talk to DC fans about and be so. All you fuckers, you can never say that I don't like DC because I'm praising the shit out of this.
I am the premier Hunter hates DC.
But it's not true at all. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy that this worked out as well as it did. And everyone, like, if you don't feel comfortable going out to a theater, I get it. I'm kind of easing back on that a little bit myself. But honestly, watch this movie. Tell your friends about this. Have people over, if they're vaccinated, and watch this shit. Because I'm happy I watched this with Alea and Allissa here, because it was really fun watching it with people. So I would really recommend you watch this with people.
It was a fucking fun. Do it.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of this. Fan-fucking-tastic. Alyssa, I'm going to pass it off to you. Final thoughts in your grade?
Honestly, way better than I thought I was going to be.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I've learned to be disappointed in my DC.
Aww.
Both in comics and in film. But no, this was very, very good. Yes, go see it. Pirate it if you need to. I won't judge.
So, fan-fucking-tastic for you too?
Yeah, fucking tastic.
Nice. Right on.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
And I will say, there's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene.
Yeah, make sure you watch them all the way through.
Yeah, because those are actually shockingly important. And
Plot relevant.
And it feels like we'll get a sequel, probably.
Assuming, it's hard to say because this should make a lot of money, but who knows with COVID. Yeah,
that's true. DC, I'm telling y'all, please give this a sequel. Like, this is great shit. This is at a...
Let James Gunn handle your entire department, honestly.
Honest to God, he should be their Feige. I've been saying this for a couple years.
Zack Snyder.
I've been saying this for a couple years, and I stand by it. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know we always say Rotten Tomatoes is not gospel, but it's 1,000% correct here. Please go see this movie and support it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but Suicide Squad. Oh, that's the question I'll ask readers. What is your favorite run of the Suicide Squad? That would be my... I'd probably say the original for me, just because that was my first intro, and I remember that cover scene, one of them won't make it out. It's like, oh, shit, okay, you got me hooked.
Yeah, actually, I know exactly which cover you're talking about, yep.
Yeah, so for me, that'd probably be my favorite, but I'd love to, also, if you have not seen Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, DC animated film, highly recommend it.
Yes, that one's a good one.
Batman Assault on Arkham is a really good one as well.
Also, Apocalypse War.
Yeah, but, there's some really great, Suicide Squad shit out there, but definitely support this movie. Alyssa, thank you so much for being on, friend. This was fun.
It's always a pleasure.
As always, and we will be reviewing Harley Quinn season 1 and 2 next month after football season gets started. Next month, I'm rewatching season 1 right now, so I'm gonna make it a point to be next month because
can't wait to do your SF fantasy.
That's okay. Why are you trying to make him combative? We're having a good conversation here. Why are you trying? Yeah, but. Everyone, what's your favorite Suicide Squad one? Let us know in the comments. You can follow.
Let us know your favorite DC animated movie too.
What is your favorite DC animated movie?
I don't know. I really liked Bad Blood.
So I dig Bad Blood a lot. If we're not counting the kind of the more feature, I think Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero is horribly underrated.
I also like Under the Red Hood. I don't know.
Under the Red Hood's great, but it kind of makes me hate Batman more because...
I know, that's my conflict.
Yeah, that's why it's like, oh man, you should just kill the Joker.
I actually really love positive Bat family dynamics where they're all just kind of getting along.
So you like one movie?
Yeah,
1 or 2?
Basically.
Yeah, that's right. Also, if you've not seen Aquaman Throne for Atlantis, that's actually a lot of fun too, but I digress. But... you can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at NearmanThe1st. And you can find us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. I'm going to be hopping on Twitch here next month. I don't know what I'm going to stream yet, but I will let you all know.
We'll figure it out.
Exactly. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher and iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon Music, to name a couple. at The Real Pineapple. We will have reviews up soon for Free Guy that comes out next week, which I'm really excited to see that, as well as the Aretha Franklin movie Respect and Loki Season 1. Oh gosh, is there anything else I'm reviewing? Oh yeah, in October we're going to start we'll start reviewing Halloween movies again. I'm going to review the original Halloween because I haven't watched that in forever, and I bought it like a year ago and I haven't watched it. And
the original Halloween?
The original Halloween, yeah. Well, big fan of that movie, yeah. But I haven't watched it in a while, so we'll review that. And Evil Dead, too. I'm really excited to watch Evil Dead. It's been a while since I've watched that. But everyone, go see Suicide Squad.
Yes. Exclamation, go see Suicide Squad. Forget all this other shit. Do that last thing, though. Exactly.
Well said. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Wear a mask, get your COVID shot for fuck's sake so we can all go outside. God, please give us some rain because Reno is smoky. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a good night.